So yeah, I had to get a new phone over Christmas break, and the intended way to pair the old watch to the new phone is a full factory reset, which is very efficient.
That makes sense.
I know,
well,
right? Like, what?
Welcome to the bonus episode, everyone.
Yeah, it seemed like an appropriate... I don't know, I was just looking at my watch because we were using it for the thing. You can actually look at the arena on the world map in HD. It's not just like pixels. It's good.
Yeah, it's like an amphitheater with an empty ceiling. Anyway, that's some old bullshit.
There we go.
You don't
Really
always
stupid,
have to
right?
factory reset things when you get new peripherals?
No, that's pretty dumb.
Yeah.
Is that standard?
That
I don't
was
feel like I've
that
encountered
was sarcastic.
that before.
That was supposed to be sarcastic. It just sounded like...
I mean, the thing was, it seemed really stupid to me, and then I look it up online, and they're like, yeah, the thing you're supposed to do is a factory reset, and now I don't know what to believe. Right? Like,
wow.
Going all the way to Star, huh?
Have fun there, Vasco. I have sake, so...
Rank your favorite alcohols out of interest.
Red wine is at the top of the list.
Okay.
Followed by whiskey, which I realize is a very catch-all term, but whiskey. My favorite mixed drink, if you're curious, is an old-fashioned, which I make on the regular.
Whiskey is your second favorite drink?
Quiet, Professor, you're not here.
You never have whiskey.
What are you talking about? I have it all the time.
As a mixed drink.
Well, quiet.
You mostly have red wine and sake, according to your recorded mentions on mostly Kingdom Hearts.
Guys, he doesn't like whiskey.
I like whiskey. They probably can't hear you very well anyway, so this is all fine. Then, after that, I would say white wine. Then sake, then beer.
Okay.
What kind of beer?
My favorite beer is Sam Adams Oktoberfest, followed closely by regular Sam Adams.
I've never really had Sam Adams. What kind of beer is that?
It's a lager.
Okay.
You know, it's a medium lager, nothing too crazy. It's not particularly dark, but it's not super pale either. You know, I'm a fan of a German Weiss beer every now and then. I'm not a fan of IPAs. I think they're hot garbage, despite them being so popular.
We can still be friends then.
Good.
Oh snap! The drama.
Everybody else in California is like loves IPAs. I don't
They
understand
have huge IPA hard-ons, and they're too throbbing for my taste.
Very elegantly
Yes.
put.
You
How does your
explained
wife
that
feel about
perfectly.
Oh, she loves a good throbbing IPA, don't you, dear?
Why did I ask? Why would I? There's
Yeah, that
no
was your
possible
mistake.
good or reasonable outcome from asking that question. There's just
Actually,
not.
she doesn't. She doesn't like beer at all.
Okay. I mostly meant your choice of words, but that's also fine.
Cotillion, what is your how would you rank your alcohols of choice?
I don't know. I think probably... I don't really do liquor very much. I don't really like... I can't do it straight up. I always think it's weird when people just sip, like, scotch or whiskey. Like, nah. I can do mixed... I don't dislike mixed drinks, but I don't... I'd rather not. So, it's just it's a toss-up between... wine and beer for me, and I don't like red wine. What? I do like... Yeah, I don't like red wine. At all. Any red wine, I don't like it.
Good glass
I
of
do
red
like
wine's my favorite.
champagne, but you can only drink that so much.
Yeah, that'll get you drunk real quick, and make your stomach feel weird because of all the bubbles.
Yeah, it's the bubbles thing that really gets to me eventually.
Vasco, are you thoroughly enjoying being completely left out of the conversation?
I like soda pop.
He asked the question. He started the conversation.
I know I did. I don't know how I got here. I did this to myself and have no reason to. I don't know how I did this or why. I'm here now.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
It's one of those things.
Vasco-
Like I actually sincerely have no problem with other people talking about it. But like this will often happen at parties and shit. Not so much because I don't go to parties anymore, because I've just evolved past going to parties.
That's for the best.
Good
Parties
job.
are
Well
dumb.
done.
Yeah. No, parties are
Congratulations.
terrible.
You have evolved as a human.
Yes. Now I have cannons coming out of my back like a Blastoise. It's great.
Awesome.
But
Sweet.
like, but truly, like the thing is that it's just like this will happen at a party. It's like, oh, this is the thing adults talk about. I'm like, I have no, I literally cannot give any input. I can tell you what other people tell me about alcohol. It's
You've
not
had
very
alcohol
interesting.
before, though, right? It's not like you've just never had a drink in
No,
your life.
I've never had alcohol. I literally
Really?
have no opinions on anything. Just conceptually, it just seems like such a waste of calories and money. Two things that I actually am pretty disciplined about. There are a lot of things I'm not disciplined about, but like those are like pretty much the top two, and so like I have no interest.
I feel like you
Yeah,
should
I don't-
at least, like at the next like really special event that you go to, you should try a glass of champagne, or at least a sip of
See, I'm
champagne.
gonna
Champagne
disagree
is
with that fundamentally. A lot of people tell me this. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, you should try it." I don't need to try heroin to know that I don't want heroin.
Alright, well,
all right.
to each their
My
own.
point simply being like, it is in essence still a drug with primarily negative impact on one's person. I'm not judging anyone else for doing it, but I have zero interest in trying.
Yeah, I feel you.
I had a college roommate who this drove insane. He could not process this. He's like, no, but like just try it once. I'm like, no, I don't want to. He's like, no, but like do it. And I was like, no,
Do I know
like,
this
"But-"
person?
probably not. He was the person I was rooming with when I moved out for the internship program.
Got it. Yeah. That kind of mindset, I think, is what makes like alcohol culture toxic.
Yeah,
Like the kind of mindset of like, you gotta get drunk to have fun, or you gotta get
Yeah.
drunk because that's what you do in college, or you gotta get drunk to make the pain go away. Like anybody that thinks that this is like a good solution to any problem or a good addition to anything necessarily is like clearly fooling themselves. For me,
yeah.
I drink because I, believe it or not, enjoy the flavor of all of the alcohols that I consume. When was
See,
the last time I
that's
was
the
drunk?
thing, right?
Professor?
Like, I feel like that's the idea.
I can't remember the last time I was drunk. I literally cannot. And I've
Was
I've
it
like
more
made
recently
mistakes.
than the tape juggling incident from many a year ago?
That was absolutely the most extreme example of my drunkenness.
But like, there's
and I have
only
never
maybe like
revisited that
maybe
world.
1 or 2 times since then that you've been drunk, right? Like that was many
Pro-
years ago now.
Yeah,
And,
I
like,
mean probably
don't
more
think
than
it's
one
been
or
more
two.
than like once or twice, maybe.
Maybe more than 1 or 2, but it's definitely like I could count on my hands for sure.
I also
Sure.
like.
And Professor doesn't remember the last time she was drunk either, if you can't hear her. It's, yeah, you know, it's
It's
about...
like a not because we can't remember being drunk type of way.
Yeah. Right. It's not because we were so drunk that we can't remember. Which is possible, though.
point
You
worth
know,
making.
you have a drink every now and then. You never know. Maybe you just completely black out immediately and just drink yourself into oblivion.
Can you remember the last time I was drunk?
I can't, but
This
you know,
is
I've wondered where this ankle monitor came from for a while, and maybe that's the answer.
This is the first recording session of the new year. Hashtag dating this episode.
Happy New Year,
that
everybody.
means Happy New Year, everyone. And that means that we recently had the annual New Year's Eve Twilight Zone marathon, and something really caught. It's funny how many times I've watched like so many of the Twilight Zone episodes, and like I still like observe things or like have a new take on them watching them. They're very deep and well written.
Yeah.
But there's also just my favorite is like sort of noticing something that seems goofy in the modern age for the first time, and like that's one of my favorite things about watching the marathon. And there's one where like this couple, they wake up in this strange house. They don't remember how they got there. They know they were at a party last night. They're all like super dressed up, and they're like, well, like the wife and the couple had to drive because the dude got like sloshed, and now they're both sort of like, I don't know how we got here. There's no one around. We're in this house, but there's no one else here. And they go out in the town, and like everything's just like weird and vacant. And every time they find something that looks like signs of civilization, like it turns out to be like fake in some way.
Huh.
And then they finally get on this train, and they're like, oh, thank God, this train will take us to like a real place. It's gonna take us to like a train station. It'll be fine. And then they ride on it for a while, and it gets to the first station. And they're like, well, just get off here. It's got to be better than where we've been. And it's the same station. And they're like, what? How did that happen? And then all of a sudden, like a 5 million foot tall alien girl picks them up because someone visited Earth and got these humans for her as dolls. And that's the thing. Because that's the Twilight Zone. Yeah, the Twilight Zone has a lot of episodes that are really like twist focused and all about like perspective. And like I like that episode a lot. It's one that I think is done very effectively. I'm obviously summarizing here. But the thing I find funny is that like oftentimes there will be like some vague or overt like morality to what's happening. And so like Rod Serling, who's the narrator, comes out at the end and he's like, the message of the story is don't drink and drive. And I'm like, I agree with the sentiment, however, I don't know that that's accurate. I feel like the moral of the story is don't get picked up by an alien as a plaything, and I don't know how to avoid that.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
pretty sure
not
that
drinking and driving helps, but I don't think that rules it out, you know?
I'm pretty sure they could have picked up a sober couple and still would have had the same issue, so
Yeah.
it might have taken them less time to figure out what the fuck was wrong with them. When was that episode made, though? That's an interesting message to be putting out so early.
It's true.
On
it's a little ahead of its time, and I think it even
drinking
used
culture.
that expression, which I don't think would have been terribly common at the time. I think
Might have
that
been the
one
first
was like
use of
late
it.
50s, vaguely possible. I don't know. I think that one was late 50s, like 59 or something.
Well, now we know that Rod Serling was ahead of his time, which is an interesting thing to learn.
I mean, if you
Wasn't
watch
that
the
obvious?
Twilight Zone and see how it impacts, like, especially sci-fi storytelling, like, it's clear that he was ahead of his time. In
The
more
only
ways
full
than
episode of The Twilight Zone I've ever watched, and I know this is not a good thing because I really enjoyed the episode and really probably should watch more of it, was the episode with the woman who had plastic surgery because she was so ugly,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
right? I don't want,
Definitely familiar with the one. It's
Should I
called
spoil
Eye of
the ending?
Beholder.
I mean, it's pretty...
I spoiled the ending of that one.
We talked
they
about
are,
this not
in
long
fairness,
ago.
they are like 50 years old.
Anyway, if you haven't
But-
seen it, spoilers, they turn out to all be pig people, and she's like a normal, very attractive woman, and everyone's like, oh, she's so ugly.
Yeah, everyone's just like, ugh, hideous monster.
Yeah, they all kind of look like... What's that guy from Star Trek, Next Generation, with the big ear ripples and the sharp...
You're thinking of Ferengi.
Sure.
It's an
Ferengi.
entire species of alien that looks like that. And yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, they kind of look like that, but like with more duck bills.
Fun fact about that particular episode, Eye of the Beholder.
Uh-huh.
It's one of two that gave me such tremendous nightmares as a child that my parents wouldn't let me watch for a long time.
That is a fun fact.
It's a fun fact.
I had fun with
Especially
that
considering
fact.
how much I like the Twilight Zone. It's interesting.
So how old were you when you first saw that episode, do you recall?
Probably something like 7 or 8, I think.
And do you remember how old you were when they let you watch it again? Or were you bad
I
and
don't
did you
know,
sneak it?
I think I like inadvertently saw one at one point without realizing what it was until like it was too late, and then it was sort of like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then like I think I mentioned it to my mom because my mom's always super chill. There are very
Right.
few things that my mom ever like forbade me from doing, and usually there was a good reason for it.
Yeah, your
so,
mom's
like-
a very sensible person.
Yeah, she is.
I
So,
say
like-
that not just because I know that she's probably watching.
Hi, Mom.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if my mom has ever seen an episode of anything we've ever done.
Did she accidentally do it and then confide in my mom about it? She's like, oh, I saw Tech do this and it was really unfortunate.
That probably happened, and she called me Tech for sure.
Yeah, obviously.
I don't even think
Is
she
there-
knows
is there
my
a
internet
point-
handle.
That would be kind of funny to me. Is there a point you think where we will like evolve past like using those as like our first? Because like sometimes we tease each other because it's like, yeah, my mom obviously called me Tech, but it's like, well, I mean, if we're gonna call each other that, I feel like that's still like the point, right?
So are you asking like whether or not we will just like stop the pretense of using our internet handles at some point?
Yeah, more or less. I mean,
maybe, I don't know.
There are some people who have, like, an internet handle, but, like, have always gone by their name anyway.
Right.
Like your
I
sister?
don't know. It's not like we've never
like my
slipped
sister.
up before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm
with
pretty sure
a
at this
very-
point, anybody that watches the channel on a regular basis knows everybody's name.
Well, you know, I've thought
Maybe
about
not
this,
mine,
actually.
because
I mean,
Well, maybe not yours.
considering the volume of episodes you've been in that one of us has fucked up and called you by your name, I think even that's a safe bet.
Well,
it's
I
just
think
so
that's
new,
a-
though. Like,
yeah, it's a little less likely. The thing I've been thinking about a lot recently. There's a podcast I listen to a lot, and I know I talk about podcasts too much on this channel, but anyway, there's a podcast I listen to a lot called Reply All. I probably talked about it before, but they did an episode about internet security. Specifically, this girl who had what's referred to as an OG internet handle. Her Instagram handle was Lizard. Anything that's like a
super
word.
basic.
yeah, a simple word, single single noun is referred to as an OG handle because you have to have started. Maybe I don't think it was Instagram. I think it was Snapchat actually. You have to you've gotten into the service really early. I think those of us that have our first name and last name as our Gmail accounts could probably claim something resembling an OG handle. Anyway.
I feel like there's maybe like one tier removed where it's not quite OG, but it's pretty close.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they did an episode about a girl who had her OG Snapchat handle, Lizard, stolen by hackers. And they talked all about security, and they were like, okay, we're doing this story all about this group of, teenage hackers who like to fuck with people just for the fun of it. As a reporter, I should probably protect myself because the minute the story comes out, they're going to try to fuck with me. And he talked all about, how vulnerable people are, and basically the security expert they spoke to learned everything about this reporter easily within, like an hour's worth of research. So I think about that, having, something of an internet presence and having a handle that should offer anonymity but clearly doesn't. If I'm making a mistake by being so laissez-faire with, actual name versus internet handle.
Yeah.
Because there's some fucked up people out there that,
I mean, there are. I think part of it is like a matter of like getting the interest of such like malicious people, because like it seems like virtually impossible to fully protect yourself, but like you don't want to like invite that, I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah,
like,
I
if
mean,
you're nobody, it doesn't matter.
the thing is that they do talk about that subject in the podcast, and how they'll literally just target random people just for the hell of it. Obviously, someone that has, as we were talking about, an OG handle that's going to be more desirable than some rando.
Yeah.
But they talked about how they would just target, they would buy social security numbers on the internet just randomly and just fuck with people just because it was fun.
Another step in the right direction.
I mean, honestly, the fact that
but, like,
teenagers can have access to that kind of power and can ruin someone's life just for fun, beyond...
I feel like if you go too far down that road, though, you're making the argument... It's the same thing, like, well, like, you don't want to, like, piss off, like, organized criminals, right? But, like, some random guy might, like, just shoot you dead on the street. And it's like, well,
True.
yeah, but, like, there's only so much you can do to, like, affect, like, something like that from happening to you, like...
It's true.
Maybe,
it's the same
maybe
thing as
some
germ theory.
bus just, like, jumps a curb and, like, kills
Right.
you after, like, you just, like, never leave your house forever, and you just have to for some reason.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
if you really did everything you could to protect yourselves from all the perils of the world, you'd never leave your house, and for that matter, you'd probably not want to be in your house anyway. So,
House
to
is
some
pretty
degree,
perilous.
a sane person has to not think about these things, otherwise they'd go insane.
Right.
But
So all I mean by that is that, like, I see your point of, like, yeah, sometimes they'll pick on random people, but, like, yeah, if they're literally picking on random people, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you
Yeah.
do, because they'll just randomly have picked you.
Yeah. They did have, a couple good pieces of advice, some of which I take, some of which I haven't, about protecting yourself. They say use a password manager is one thing, I sort of do that. One of the other things they talk about is whatever phone you use as an SMS confirmation number, you lose your password and
The
they can text you
two-factor
a number.
authentication?
Yeah. That is really easy to spoof someone's phone number. You basically just call up a phone company and say, hey, I'm so-and-so and I would need a new SIM card or what have you. And it's pretty easy to take over someone's phone number and to use two-factor authentication to take over their account. They basically talk about, taking whatever cell phone number or number you have associated with that and getting rid of it and getting a new number that you don't share with any person. In order to do that process, which is a pretty big change for a lot of us who've had our phone numbers since we were in high school or earlier.
It seems a little extreme. I see the validity of that, but, that seems like it's asking a lot.
Yeah, so the solution
Having
they
two
talk
cell
about
phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... So, what they talk about is basically you use a Google Voice... You transfer your old number to a Google Voice number so that you still have access to that number and people can still call you and text you and everything. But then the real number that your cell phone transmits data through is something that you don't share with anyone.
Well, couldn't you do it the other way around? Couldn't you get a Google Voice number? Or is that... I don't even know how Google Voice works.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the limitations on two-factor authentication are, because,
Yeah,
maybe not.
I'm not sure either. I'm curious as to whether or not it would be possible to do it that way. Absolutely. Anyway, it's just an interesting thing that I've thought about recently, as listening to this podcast and being a not at all internet personality. You have to have personality to be
on
one
the
internet
subject
personality, so.
of what was being discussed. Cotillion, do you have a random thing that will somehow take us down a rabbit hole for 10 minutes?
Well, I was gonna talk a little bit more about podcasts, because I got a not beef with Tech. Got me hooked on the Adventure Zone.
Oh, yeah.
You know what's actually really funny about that, if I may have just a moment?
Yeah,
you may not.
Oh, sorry. So my sister and my brother-in-law came to visit for the holidays, and almost the first thing that my brother-in-law said to me after getting off the plane was have you heard of Adventure Zone? Just apropos of nothing, and I was like, yes, surprisingly I have!
That's awesome.
Vasco, you really should listen to it. These guys are so funny, and it's so up your alley.
But Cotillion, where are you in
something
the
I would
story
like.
right now?
They're just about to finish the Crystal Kingdom.
Crystal Kingdom. Are you past me already?
I don't know. Where are you?
I don't know. I'm in the middle of the battle cart race.
Oh yeah, then I'm past you.
What the fuck? How have you passed me already? Jesus Christ!
Well,
calm down.
I can listen to it while I'm working. So.
See, I generally listen to it during drives. I listen to it when I work out. I listen to it constantly, but I'm also really afraid of running out of them. Even though it was as far back as 2015 that I'm listening to right now.
Yeah, I
it's
think
so
you're good
good
for a
and
little while.
All right, good. Well, anyway, yeah. So I'm in the middle of the battle cart race, which is awesome, by the way.
It's pretty good. I also heard something last night, Vasco, that I was gonna text you about, but then my bedroom sprang a leak, which is a whole different story.
Oh no, is it still raining up there?
Not right now, but last night it was, and there was gale force winds, so it was pretty.
I can
not
sympathize,
awesome.
as I've had my roof of my apartment compromised twice by the rain in 4 years.
Cotillion, you really need to rethink your life choices if you're sailing with your bedroom.
Good point.
Don't
good point.
don't tell me how to live my life. TekAzurik. But they were talking about another
What is this?
podcast,
Look at
Vasco,
this.
that I almost told you about last night, called Teens with Attitude. I think it is teens or teenagers with attitude.
Yeah, I mean, Teenagers with Attitude would be a direct reference to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes, it is a group of adults that just sit and talk about the original Power Rangers, the original American Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And they go through, like, they start it at season 1, episode 1, and they just go through the whole thing.
Good for them.
Episode by episode.
Because I feel like you could have gone through the whole series by now for sure.
Well, I heard about it. The episode that I was listening to was recorded back in 2016. So.
Okay.
You should check it out, though. It sounds like that would be.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it's not
well.
Vasco's favorite thing
I
already.
don't really look into podcasts too much. The thing is, like, there's so many of them. It's one of those things like a good book where, like, I kind of need a recommendation because, like, it's too fucking hard to just randomly find a book that I think is amazing. You know?
I
Like,
totally agree with that sentiment. I have a lot of trouble finding good books that I want to read.
yeah.
Okay,
So, I mean,
let me come
it's
back.
like
Let me
the same
circle back
thing.
around.
Like, I just don't look into it.
Let me circle back around to books for tech.
Yeah.
But Vasco, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to get a better recommendation than the Adventure Zone.
You would fucking
No, I mean,
love.
from what you both have told me, it definitely sounds like something I would like. It's just
I'm so happy
I've
that I
not had
started
an
listening
abundance
to
of
it.
time lately to like
really-
do anything fun.
It really
I've
makes
had,
me.
I've had Smash Brothers for like 2.5 weeks and played it for the first time today.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you. It really makes me want to play D&D.
I mean, we had
it-
plans to do that at one point.
Yeah, you're right.
It
Why
satisfies my desire to play D&D because I know how difficult it is to get a group of people like that together, and just being able to listen to them play and be involved in that way on a regular basis.
There's a regular of my stream chat, Demolition, who is like constantly a part of like 5 or 6 like tabletop gaming groups, and I'm like,
Yep.
How do you have time
like
for that
Cotillion
shit?
saying, like, I've done this before. I know that that's not remotely as easy as it sounds, and it doesn't sound easy. So,
Yeah,
like,
and he works
how-
like full time at a legit job. Not really
Yeah.
sure what he does, but his company is pretty legit. And he
Do you
streams
like how I
every
managed
day.
to correctly retarget in the middle of that action?
That
Did
was
you
pretty
see
impressive.
that?
That was really impressive. You need to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because that was
true.
too much. That was extra, as the youth say.
I only kind of understand the new usage of the word extra. I feel like I've heard it used in really disparate contexts.
I clearly don't, because I'm pretty sure I used it completely wrong this thing.
Yeah, I don't know that was extra.
But there's also basic, which is also bad. So like somehow you have to like be somewhere in between basic.
You have to be
and
the
extra.
right amount, obviously. You don't want to be too much or too little.
Right. It's a
My
complicated
understanding
thing.
was that, like, extra was sort of either, like, try hard or just, like, too emotionally invested, which are kind of similar enough that I think they're both covered by it.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of what extra is. But I'm not a youth, so I may be completely off base about this.
If you are a youth, please leave a comment. We would like to know about the hippest slang and lingo.
You know what's funny is that I never really have ever felt like a true youth. Like I never really understood youth culture, even when I was
No.
like very much a part of it. Like I listened to fucking the like local pop music station and like was like all into that shit, and I still like didn't fucking understand.
Oh
what
my god, I love how
was saying.
close she was to that gremlin shooting him. That was really
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I've always felt that way too. Like, I don't know, I'm the kind of person who appreciates the fucking Twilight Zone. I feel old all the time. I've always felt old.
Yeah, I've also always felt old. I agree.
Like,
There's
one of the
a lot
reasons
of
I like
flipping going
Pokemon
on
so
right
much
now.
is it was like maybe the only time in my life where I felt like I was like in sync with the thing that was popular. When that like first came out. You know, like I was collecting Pokemon cards and other human beings were collecting Pokemon cards and I was like, whoa, hold on.
You know, I have a vivid memory of the first time I ever heard about Pokemon. It was after a T-ball game.
I didn't even know you played T-ball.
Not on purpose. It was not my choice.
It was an accident, a really complicated accident.
And I was hanging out with a friend of mine, a local townie, and he was like, "Yeah, we were young enough that I asked him the question of like, what do you want to play now? Like, what do you want to pretend that we're doing?" And I vividly remember him telling me, yeah, there's this new game that I heard about. It's called Pokemon. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. And I remember asking him, I was like, oh, do you want to do Pokemon? You want to play Pokemon right now? Knowing nothing about it, like, at all.
Yeah.
And I remember him being like, nah. It was literally one of those, like, loss of innocence moments where I realized it's like, are we not gonna, like, play? We're not gonna pretend right now? That's not happening? It's like a very formative moment of my childhood, and it's the first time I ever heard about Pokemon.
I totally get that. I was super extra about Pokemon when, like, because, like, I had been reading about it in, like, Nintendo Power for, like, months, and I was fucking set, man.
You were
They were,
ready.
like, showing maps of, like, Pewter City and Cerulean City, and I, like, knew what I was gonna do and, like, what Pokemon I was starting with, and I just, like, fucking knew, man. I was trying so hard.
That's legit.
I remember when I first got Pokemon Blue, I like, it came out on, like, a school night or something, and so, like, I was able to play, like, a couple hours before bed. And then I just, like, fucking couldn't get to bed. I was so overstimulated from finally being able to play Pokemon. It was absurd.
I know that feeling. I was that way about Final Fantasy X. I actually got a subscription to... what was it? Some gaming magazine. What was the gaming magazine at the time? I can't even remember.
Electronic Gaming Monthly was a big one?
Yeah. So I had a subscription to that. And the first one I ever bought, we went on a family vacation to the beach, and I went into a store, and we were like, oh, what am I going to read on the beach? I'll read this, because apparently adults read things on the beach, so I'm going to do that. And I read about Final Fantasy X and got really into it.
Adults definitely read about Final Fantasy X on the beach.
They do. Having never played any Final Fantasy games before, I got really into it. The other game that I also got really into by, like, watching a lot of, like, things and reading a lot of things was this really terrible PS2 game where you got to play as a dragon. I don't even remember what it was called. It was shit. The graphics were shit. The controls were shit.
Was it called Dragon Shit?
No, but it might as well have been. It was so terrible. But I was so obsessed with the idea that I could play a video game and fly around as a dragon and fucking burn people. I was so into it that I did not give a shit if the game was good or not, that I would just read and watch videos of it every moment I could. And this was when YouTube was, like, brand fucking new.
Oh, yeah. Does it seem to anyone else like time is passing really slowly, but every time we finish one of these, it's just like an hour darker of real time? Like, it's creeping me out a little bit.
I mean, it's been dark here for quite a while, so...
It's because you live in the future.
I do.
How is the future? Is it getting any better over there?
It's not. I'm just going to warn you guys right now. Don't get excited about the future, because it's not great over here.
Hopefully it's not getting worse.
You know, I would appreciate it if you would leave it better than the way you found it.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Oh, yeah, about that.
When Zephyr did that laugh just now, was he doing a Jeff Goldblum impression from Jurassic Park? I once saw someone like make like a song remix out of that like awful laugh that he does. It's pretty entertaining.
That sounds great.
Also, over Christmas break, I watched most of Jurassic Park twice in the same day.
Nice.
Oh.
Jurassic Park is such a good
Park
movie.
is one of my top 5 favorite movies, though.
Oh, that movie is absolutely in my top 5. That, I mean...
It's so good.
My top 5
that, like,
shifts around constantly, but Jurassic Park
yeah, I get that.
forever be in that list.
Mine actually hasn't changed since 2014, and I don't know, it kind of might take something to change my top 5 at this point. Like something pretty significant.
Wait,
what
is
changed
your
in
top
2014?
5?
Well, the most recent one was Guardians of the Galaxy 1, and that
okay.
fucking changed my life.
Mm.
I could spend too much time talking about how that movie fucking speaks to me in like a way that's like almost uncomfortable.
It's a great movie.
Give us the rest of your
I think
top
it's genuinely very good. The rest, so like Back to the Future 1, Jurassic Park 1, Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Scott Pilgrim, and WALL-E are my top 5.
Scott Pilgrim is absolutely in that list. I fucking love that movie. Every time I watch it, I'm so satisfied by it.
I watched that
Every time
last
I watch
night.
it, I'm like,
It's so
why the
good.
fuck haven't I watched this movie recently?
Yeah. But I got it on like Blu-ray in like a steelbook collector's case just because of how much I like wanted to make sure I could fucking watch it if I had to.
You know, that's a movie that has always been on my like want to buy Blu-ray list. I never buy Blu-rays, and I may never own it on Blu-ray, but it was like when I was suddenly like I owned a PS4 and could buy Blu-rays, like that was at the top of my list, and I still have never fucking done it.
This is a nice thing about the PS4 is that it just like gives you that extra option. Because like I wouldn't buy a fucking like Blu-ray DVD player, like that's too much. But the fact that I have something that plays them, that justifies like occasionally buying something that's like that I want to have like quick access to on Blu-ray like that.
Right.
I mean, you did get the Back to the Future Blu-ray set when that came out, didn't you? 'Cause we had
I
that
did.
party? Or was that just a
I
regular
did
CD?
specifically for a party though.
Yeah.
I bought it because we were going to watch all of them at a party.
Yeah.
Which was excellent, and I'm very glad we did it. Great purchase.
It was that was definitely a worthwhile purchase, I think.
Absolutely.
Being biased that I watched it with you, although I also own that same set because I just fucking wanted it. Again, it's one of my top 5. I don't know that WALL-E has actually ever been released on Blu-ray. I'd fucking love to get that on Blu-ray.
Really? Disney does have like a weird thing about releasing
They're kind of
things.
weird about it. Like
I don't like
they're
the
not
way
even,
that
like,
Disney
consistent.
does it. I'm convinced that I'm never going to see Aladdin again because it's just like been in the vault forever.
Well, the good news about that is they're probably gonna. Well, I guess I can't speak to this for sure. But, they're planning on releasing their like
The live
Netflix killer thing, and
Oh yeah, but I don't want
they'll
to.
probably add a lot of their big stuff on there. At
I
least
don't
early on
want
to
to
get
subscribe to stupid Disney Instant Access in order to watch.
Yeah, but
Aladdin.
like Disney owns almost everything good. Is the
Yeah,
problem. So
that's
like,
that's the thing. When
Are they gonna
CBS
pull everything
launched
off
their
of-
like,
yes, fuck CBS.
yes,
They're like, we can
exactly.
compete. No, CBS, you don't know
Yeah.
what you're doing.
they
Good job,
Like
literally
CBS. You
have,
have
Disney, when
Star
Disney
Trek.
says that, I'm like, oh.
yeah,
Okay.
they literally have one property. I'm not
Yeah.
paying, however many dollars a month, even if it's $1 a month to watch one show. But
Yeah.
when it
Especially
when
if it's fucking Star Trek Discovery, which, fucking spoiler alert, is the most, like, heinously insulting thing to any fandom I've ever fucking seen in my whole life. And
I
I
wouldn't know,
hate
because I've
Zero
never been
Time
able to watch
Dilemma
it.
with the fire of infinite suns, and it's worse than that.
he does hate Zero Time Dilemma, and he was real
hate
hyped
Zero
about it too.
I thought you loved that.
No, you're
That
incorrect.
was your favorite.
You remember falsely. You live
Wait.
on a throne of lies.
Should I not have gotten you 50 copies of it for your birthday?
I already have 2 copies of it.
Oh, I'm so
Now you're at
sorry.
52.
Have
More
I
is
told
better,
you the,
right?
the story of why I own 2 copies
Yes.
of a game
No,
I hate so much? I think
No,
it's
Amazon.
I am aware because you were like super excited by it and Amazon ordered it on Amazon and it just didn't
Yep,
show
I
up. in
pre-ordered it
time.
on Amazon, and they like, for the second time in my life, they were like, yeah, we'll get it to you day of, and then it didn't, and they were like, fucking, I don't know.
Well,
And they like never did anything to make it right, and I fucking hate Amazon because they always do that shit to me. So I bought a digital copy and played through it because I fucking wanted to play through it, and then the other one got shipped to me, and I was just like,
that happened to the Professor and I recently. Yoshi's Crafted World was listed on Amazon as coming out on New Year's.
yeah, I was gonna
Eve.
say, because like, yeah, it was. Well, here's the problem. Amazon has this gross tendency to like, if a game gets announced and there's like some like vague insinuation it will be done some year, but like no one ever confirms a date, then they will mark it as New Year's Eve of that year.
Oh,
That
is
it will
that
be
what it
released.
is?
Yeah, that's what they do. I've come across this a couple times myself.
I didn't know
Um,
that.
Yeah, and so sometimes that day will just come around and obviously fucking nothing happened because it wasn't being released. It comes out sometime later this year, I think. But I was
Yes.
confused by that for a while too. Because like there were
Yes.
dates for it, seemingly. Like I
was
want that
gonna say,
game. I like Yoshi. I just finished 100%ing Yoshi's Island on my stream and then deleted my save file like a champ.
Yeah, I saw that. That was great. Good job.
I'm pretty proud. It went well.
Like a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she was all like, "Oh my god, game comes out tomorrow," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's something exciting to look forward to." And then, by the way, it's not coming out until like the spring of this year.
Do they even have a set date for it? I still haven't heard.
No, spring, Q2 of 2019. That's all they've said.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's it called? Yoshi's
Crafted World. So instead of everything being made of yarn, everything's made of cardboard.
Is it Switch?
Yeah.
Should be Switch.
Yes. I was just telling Tech that watching you play Yoshi on Super Nintendo really made me wish that Yoshi's Woolly World was on the Switch, because I wanted to play it again. And
I know.
Did not want to...
really need to. It's like that and like Mario Maker are like the only things that were like really good on the Wii U that like haven't already been ported to the Switch, and they just need to do it because the Wii U is terrible and they know it. So just like port those two good games and you'll make a ton of revenue from the people who wanted to play them and bought your real console, the really for reals one, and not the bullshit Wii U that I wanted to be good, but they just never made good, ever.
I saw a headline, I didn't read the article, but I saw this headline the other day saying that, and this was like 2 days ago, I think, saying that brand new Wii U consoles, because they're not making them anymore, so like brand new being unopened.
Right.
We're going for like $800 online.
Fuck off.
And they were being bought.
That seems wrong.
That's just bonkers.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's so gross. That's the grossest thing I've ever heard.
I know, right? Like, I can't even, like, process that. I'm just really unhappy about hearing
That's the grossest thing I've ever heard, and I am currently in the middle of editing a video that from footage from an interview that I just shot a couple weeks ago for a pharmaceutical company with a patient who had kidney and liver failure, and talked about how he was draining 22 pounds worth of liquid from his abdomen every week.
Jesus.
And did you find a way to sneak Tayo Cruz's dynamite in there?
Oh yeah, it's going in for sure.
I sure fucking hope so. I'm gonna try something a little stupid here.
Good luck to you. We should consider switching around items at some point.
Yeah, that's a good
Probably
point.
soon. Probably soon.
Do we wanna start a new episode also at some point, or is it we just going until SharePlay runs out? What's our plan?
I mean, for the bonuses, I think we can just go until SharePlay runs out.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because, like, I think it just makes the most sense to, like, condense it as much as possible for, like, ease of, like, playlist viewing. Like, if someone's, like, really, like, the arena is literally them talking and it barely matters what's happening on screen, whatever. Like, if you're really committed to just, like, watching the story of HD, whatever, I respect that. But I think it's a lot easier than adding, like, 6 episodes that you should skip and asking people to try to figure that out, you know?
Truth. I'm down for it.
Get him. Kill him.
Ow!
Alright, I feel good about my stupid plan now.
You're doing great. But yeah, Vasco,
I made a
to
really
reiterate,
big triangle.
You did.
Sure did.
To reiterate, you really need to listen to Adventure Zone, like, right now. Like, stop what you're
can't
doing,
do it right
stop
now.
playing the game, and go listen to it.
How funny would it be if, like, I just, like, paused the game and then, like, for, like, however long one of those episodes is, it's just me, like, and you guys, like, silently listening to that. And, like,
As long
that's
as
just,
we
like,
could
what
hear-
this becomes.
If we could hear the Adventure Zone, that would be awesome.
I'm pretty sure
I mean,
they
I'm
wouldn't
pretty
take
sure
that-
we'd get in trouble for that.
Yeah, pretty sure they wouldn't
I mean, we
take
just
kindly
wouldn't be
to
able to
us just, like,
monetize.
rebroadcasting their shit there.
It's free. Who cares? We just wouldn't
Still.
monetize it.
I mean, alright, that's fair.
Be keeping up.
It's so
I kinda
funny.
had a similar
I was
experience
like
a while
in
back, like,
tears driving
Why
home
some,
one
like,
day.
Russian website was, like, reposting all my, like, Vasco channel videos for, like, no value, and I was like,
That's weird.
who and why?
Wait,
Who
really?
and why? Yeah. Like, they just had
Russia?
some, like, portal... Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Russian. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of weird things happen on the internet, going back, like, an hour of real time.
Wow.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's cray.
Maybe you'll become a superstar in Russia.
Maybe.
Alright, Professor, I'll bite. What the fuck's going on over there?
I'm watching the video of an orchestra and the fucking guy that plays the, like, drum. Like the one drum. You know, those just bam.
Uh-huh, the
Okay?
timpani? Uh-huh.
His fucking mouth and flew out of his hand and knocked her off.
Alright, good times.
So we basically have become what I just described, only with the professor watching whatever that is.
Yep.
Nice.
We've become exactly that. Just someone laughing in the background and us just sitting here quietly. It's great. Good times.
And the guys that do Adventure Zone have like 1 million podcasts.
They do. They have way too many podcasts. I don't listen to any of what.
Everyone has too many podcasts. That's again, this is the problem. Like almost any time, because you know, I forget. I think this was actually before we started recording. We were talking about radio, or was it? Was it like the first thing we were talking about? But like, I actually like listen to radio, and like I will hear like all sorts of guests like interviewed, and like every single fucking one of them has a podcast.
Yeah, of course
Yeah.
they do. But those are the people that I don't know, are trying to become famous. These guys, I think, are
No, like
semi-famous
famous people,
already.
like already famous people who just incidentally have podcasts.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's another story also.
I mean, John Hodgman has a podcast on the same network as these guys.
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
You don't know who John Hodgman is?
No.
I feel like you're
Fucking-
making that up. Are you making
No,
that up?
fucking. You remember the I'm a Mac, I'm a PC commercials
Yes.
Oh, sure.
with Justin Long and John Hodgman. Justin Long was the
Okay,
Mac,
so
and John
he's,
Hodgman
he's
was the
not
PC.
Justin Long. Got it.
No,
Claim to fame is not Justin Long.
he's
No.
he's been in a bunch of shit. He's famous. You'd know.
He's been in some stuff. I don't know. I always have to question who and what is famous when you and I get together, because like we struggle with this concept. You know, we've had issues in the past.
That guy's definitely famous.
Which reminds me, I know we're like not close to like starting a new game, but I think enough time has passed since the little bit of Until Dawn that you saw that like we should consider doing that soon. Like I think you should play Until Dawn.
You think so?
I think
think so.
that I think you need to pick what you really, really want Tech to play, and have him do that for you for your birthday or something.
But
And
we got some
I'm pretty
time.
sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tech, but I think you've more or less told me there's no way that you will play. Really?
What?
Yeah,
Wait, what the
There's
fuck
more or
was
less
that?
no way that you will play. I don't know what happened. Just.
you have to quit.
Right.
You can't
Okay.
restart.
Wait, is the correct option?
Yeah.
Okay.
If the end of your sentence is Untold Legends Dark Kingdom, the answer is yes. Fuck that game.
No,
in a-
technically
in
you're
a fire.
already obliged to play Untold Legends Dark Kingdom, hilariously. But Doki Doki Literature Club is the one I would really like.
Really?
The
You
games
want
I
that
most want to play
over-
with you are Doki Doki Literature Club and like Zero Escapes 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Also known as not Zero Time Dilemma.
Doesn't that shit like involve a lot of reading though?
Yes.
See, this is the problem, is that I don't think that any game that involves a lot of reading is good as a Let's Play. Because it involves reading.
You're
and
definitely
I-
wrong about Doki Doki Literature Club.
I cannot read, though. This is, like, I am bad at reading out loud.
When has that ever been a deterrent to
Yes,
anyone?
this-
Because like
This makes it entertaining for the viewer.
To listen to my dyslexia, good times.
Yes.
have you not watched videos on YouTube?
No.
Like, people love it when content creators are suffering to some, like, moderate degree.
Okay. So I need to suffer.
Is this
for that,
somehow
I guess.
new information to you?
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna try this.
It's
Well,
especially
maybe we'll
fun
do
when
it
you use
sometime.
a
Should I kill the
voice tech.
dogs?
I really want you to do. Yeah. Okay. Yes, I think you should kill the dogs first, but.
no,
But
it
I
is
really
for-
want you guys to do
That's
Zero Escape because I really want to see that story.
Like, sincerely, Tech, you would. I think, I might be mistaken, but I feel confident that you would really like the story of the Zero Escape games.
No,
It's
I would
really
be down.
engaging and cool.
I would be down for Zero Escape. I would be.
It's the plus to Zero Escape is that it does have a lot of sections where there are voice actors. In the puzzle rooms, they haven't dubbed over like people giving clues and whatever. but especially with the PS4 remaster that they did, like, last year, I want to say, there's a lot of voice acting. Like, it's not actually as much reading, despite being a visual novel. Now, it is a puzzle game, and also, because it's on the PS4 instead of having a touchscreen, some of the puzzles are inexplicably much harder than they're supposed to be.
Because you can't just flail on the screen.
Yeah, because, like, some of it you should just be able to, like, tap a thing, tap another thing, and it goes over there. And now you're doing it with the PS4 controller, and it doesn't work right.
Was it originally made for the DS or something?
Yeah, it was originally made for the 999 is the first game in the series, and it was originally made for the DS and the PSP, I guess? And then the second one was for the 3DS and PS Vita simultaneously.
Got it. I would try it. I'd be down.
I think you should.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, let's stop doing this. I'm gonna listen to Adventure Zone while the two of you play it because I know everything that happens.
Okay, great.
Sound like a plan? And then occasionally I'll be like, wow, it's really funny that the druid did this. And then you'll be like, God, that was like years ago, Vasco. Catch up.
Alright, I think this might be our last one because I think the share play is going to run out soon.
Is it really? Jeez.
Yep.
Alright, yeah. Does someone else want to take over at that point?
Possibly.
Or should I just play through it? Like, I'm fine either way, but if you guys are, like, bored of sitting there.
We'll figure it out.
Okay. You think I should focus on the dogs? Let's try
just meant in that specific instance, I would have gone for the dogs.
Now I'm just curious. I kind of want to try this. I don't know if this is correct. It's not the thing I think I'd try to do, but I'm going to do it.
Do it. You won't.
It's only level, like, 8, so that should probably be good.
I think you got the dog.
Targeting.
Do you love the targeting system? Like, tell me, scale of 1 to a million.
There have been 2 times during this episode where I have flawlessly changed target exactly the way I meant to. And it is, like, so weirdly exciting in this game because of how stupidly hard it is to do. Like, the one I pointed out, and then one happened, like, a couple minutes later, and I was like, I don't want to, like, really overdo it, but, like, dang. Twice in 1 hour? It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. I find that sometimes I will correctly change targets, but I'm expecting it not to, so I'm mashing the button.
Yes.
And then I see that it's the right target, so I'm like, oh crap! So I start mashing it in the other direction, and then I miss it again. And then my run is over. I'm like,
check it out.
That was a wasted turn.
Got a bonus shot on this weird spider.
Go team.
Team Spider?
Spider team? Sure.
You guys, you know, in a step-by-step guide of becoming a fossil, the first step is to die.
Are you reading that from something or having a stroke?
A little bit of both.
Not mutually exclusive ideas.
You can do it.
Yeah, this is fine. I'm getting greedy. I want to send... oh no, that like literally would have killed me.
Well, I'm glad you made the right decision then.
So, I guess I'm ahead of you, Tech, and they're in the second, like, fundraiser thing. And I guess the bonus episode that they recorded for that year that you get if you pledge to them is Magnus. I can never remember their names. Travis, I guess. Travis DMs it. It's just like a one-off that Travis DMs and the other 3 play. And I really want to hear that, but I really don't want to spend money on this.
That sounds great.
You know
also, it's like so far in the past.
You know what we should do, guys? We should just start our own podcast where all we do is like react to individual episodes of Adventure Zone. I think that's what. I think that's giving the people what they want. Please leave a comment if that is what you want us to do.
Please do.
Yep.
Alright, well, join us in the next bonus episode when we will continue to do this shit.
Or is it the same episode and just a fade to white? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find
out.
Ah!